Hey guys, it's Manatron 1143. In today's video, we're going to be checking out this Pennsylvania Reading Seashore E6 Atlantic from Lionel. Just like all of the recent product reviews, I'm going to link the history of this engine in the video description, so that way we can take a look at the detail and run the engine and not worry about the history. But if you are a history buff, like always, just check the video description. Alright, so let's start taking a look at some detail. On the pilot, you can see we have the cow catcher, which looks really good. We have a dummy scale coupler, and included in the box with this engine is a dummy O-gauge coupler, should you want to double head the engine. We have some legible signage right here. Then we have these marker lights. Now, these are not lit, although they have the lenses in them, so I guess if you wanted to, you could put LEDs or something in there, but they're not lit out of the factory. Moving up some more, we have a curved grab iron down here. We have the engine road number 6064. We have a whole bunch of rivet detail which goes all the way around the engine, which looks really nice. We have an operating headlight right up here, and we have lighted number boards on either side of it. Coming along the side of the engine, we have these cylinders with the gold painted wheel. We have a builder's plate which does read the E6 label on it and does have information about the engine. We have these handrails right up here, and then down here we have the lead truck and the driving wheels, and this looks great. Moving back some more, we have this air reservoir which looks really good. We have an air tank down here. We have the trailing truck right back here. Then we have the cab, which as you guys can see has the engine road number and also a cab figure in there. Coming up on top of the engine, we have these lit marker lights. We have a dyno generator piece. We have a smokestack, and of course this does contain an operating smoke unit. We have a sand dome here. We have a brass bell. Now I super glued mine in a kind of moving position because every time I turn the engine over, the bell always comes off. So I super glued it so it won't come off anymore. You got a steam dome here. Then towards the back we have some pop-off valves and a hand-painted whistle. And finally up on top of the cab we have a molded in roof hatch and also some rivet detail. I know the camera angle isn't the best, but I'm going to try to show it anyway. So inside the cab we have a very nicely detailed back head. We have two crew figures, we have a lighted cab and a red firebox glow, and also there's an ash pan light right around here, which you'll see when we get the engine running. And also down here you can see we have the wireless tether connection. Alright, so now that the engine's taken care of, let's take a look at the tender. Alright, so coming up along the front of the tender here, we have the receiving end for the wireless tether. We have the steps that lead up to the cold doors here, and this looks really, really nice. On the side, this is probably my favorite spot on the tender. We have all these rivet detail pieces, and then we have the Pennsylvania Reading Seashore Lions logo. It just looks so cool. And then under here, you can see we got the truck side frames, which look very, very nice. Along the back of the tender, we have a water hatch, and this opens up to reveal the volume control for the engine. We have these marker lights back here. We have a auxiliary light right here next to the ladder piece. We have the Pennsylvania Reading Seashore reporting marks, the coal and water information, and then we have a operating electrical coupler and also some steps on the other side here. Alright, so that takes care of all the detail on the engine. Now let's go ahead and fire it up and run it. Alright, so now we're set and ready to get this engine fired up, but real quickly I'll give you guys my favorite feature. And I think my favorite feature on this engine is the overall look of the engine. I know that may sound kind of weird, but this engine just looks great. I think my favorite part of this engine is the tender. This tender is just so cool looking. It's so tiny and it just looks great. You know, I love small steam engines. They're really neat. I love big ones too. But these small ones just look so cool. And this drive gear is really cool as well. So anyways, let's go ahead and get this engine fired up. Okay, here we go. Now I'm running this engine with the Cab 1 TMCC controller here. Alright, let's give a listen to some of the sounds. Here's the whistle. Love that whistle, sounds really good. Here's the bell. Here's the blowdown sound. And here's the water injector. Alright, the last thing we'll do is give a listen to some of the crew talk sounds before we get this engine rolling. Now, I know some of you guys may not like the crew talk. If you don't like it, you just don't have to use it. So here we go.
6064 here. Have you got a cleared track for us yet? Over. Not yet. 6064. You are up next. Over. Copy, dispatch. We're still waiting on that signal. Out. 6064. There is track work in progress. Please stand by. Over. Copy, dispatch. We'll sit tight. Out. PRSL 6064 here. I'm ready to roll. Over. 6064. You are good to go. Over. Okay, dispatch. Cleared outbound. Over.
And here's one more.
6064. You are good to go. Over. Okay, dispatch. Cleared outbound. Over.
Alright, so now I'll throw some cars behind this thing and get going. Alright, so now we got some cars behind the engine. Now the E6 was a passenger engine, but I don't have any PRSL cars, so I can't run it with passenger cars. So right now I got some freight behind it. So let's go ahead and get going here.
6064. You are good to go. Over. Okay, dispatch. We're cleared outbound. Over. This is 6064. We're on our way. Over. Okay, out. Shoreline 6064 here. We've arrived and are in position. My brakes are set. Over. Welcome back. Out. This is 6064 signing off. We're gonna put this train to bed. Out.
Alright, so that about wraps up for this review. This engine is just fantastic and I like it a lot. Now, in the running session, if you heard some squeaking, I'm believing that's coming from the rear truck over here, because I turned this engine over once to mess around with the switches because I'm out of smoke fluid at the minute, so that's why there's no smoke in the video, but I had to shut the switch off so in case I accidentally hit the button it wouldn't start running the smoke unit. So, but when I turned it over, I noticed that there's some scraped paint on the underside, so I'm thinking that the wheel is rubbing up against the bottom of the shell. That's what's creating the scraping sound, so maybe I'll try to file it down and see if that fixes it. So I apologize if there's any annoying squeaking. But anyway, if you're interested in purchasing this engine, I think it retailed for around $500 or so. I'm not 100% sure. I'll link the product page in the description so you guys can check it out. But this engine's really cool. Now, they also made it in a Pennsylvania version, and I wanted that one, but I found this one for a good price. I found it for around $380 or so, and I couldn't pass it up, so that's why I have this one here. But if any of you guys could help me locate the Pennsylvania version, the road number on that is 68, and it came out around the same time as this, I would love to know if I could find that. So if any of you guys could help me, that would be fantastic. So until the next video, which will be the CNJ060, which will hopefully be coming out soon, I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm Matt, Channel 943.